If you've been thinking about homeschooling, you might be considering starting your child off in a traditional preschool or kindergarten. This would allow them to get socialized, build local friendships, maybe start learning the basics of how to read. But I would actually really caution against this. There are lots of reasons to start homeschooling from the very beginning. Right now. And even if you've already started your child in a traditional school, it's better to pull them out now and start homeschooling than wait for later. I have 5 answers to questions around the topic of when to start homeschooling, so stick with me till the very end as we go through those. The first is setting educational expectations. Learning from home isn't the same as learning with a lot of peers, and lessons can be tailored to the individual and don't require as much time. Families that started in a traditional setting and have now moved to homeschooling tend to go through a readjustment time known as deschooling. Before, school was for education and home was for recreation. So children who now find themselves needing to learn at home struggle to surrender the freedom that they once had. Homeschooling from the start gives you and your child time to grow into your learning styles and doesn't confuse the child on the difference between home and school. You can teach them that learning is a lifelong, ongoing experience, and you can help them set up rhythms that will encourage them to be responsible with their time from the very beginning. At what age should you start formal education? Well, this will depend on 2 things. It'll depend on what your state's required age is, as well as your child's readiness. The first one's easy. You just go to HSLDA's website and see what the state requirement is for the ages. The second one depends on your child's readiness, and this will be different for all children. I have 4 boys, and they were all ready at different phases. My first son was a genius from the get-go. He knew his ABCs by age 1. He was saying full sentences. He could tell you how H2O changes forms. What a nerd. My identical twins were ready at different phases. One was ready at age 5. He wanted to be writing stories and he had lots of questions, and that just really fits his personality. The other one wasn't ready until age 6, and then he started showing interest and wanting to participate and learn as well. Now they're at the same point of where they're learning. It really balanced out super quickly, but they just didn't start at the same time. My 4-year-old is not about to be left behind, and every day he asks, "Can I do my schoolwork now?" He loves it, and that's where he's at. He started at about age 3. So you just need to see when they start showing these different cues. Now, I'm reading a book by Susan Schaefer called For the Sake of the Children, and I would recommend reading that book to kind of dig into this a little bit more. I'll link it down below if you're interested. The big question is, how do I socialize my homeschoolers? Don't worry about it. There are lots of ways all around you that you and your child can be involved in the community events and get socialized. I've actually been focusing a lot on this on my Instagram page, so you can follow me there for more tips and ideas about socialization, but ultimately it will happen. And really, it depends a lot more on the parents than it does on the social settings around a child. Your children will tend to be more like you. So how are you socializing? Are you good at socializing? Those are kind of some of the questions you might actually want to be considering. What if you don't feel prepared to start teaching your child? Well, you've been teaching them from the very beginning. You taught them how to eat and how to get dressed and how to go to the bathroom. And if you can teach them that, then you can teach early education. And learning isn't just for them. As they learn and go through the process, you will too. So you'll have time to continue researching and learning and picking out curriculums that work for you and your child. What should you do next? Well, I'd encourage you to click on this playlist where I've prepared videos on the who, what, why, where, when, and how of homeschooling. This will encourage you and help you get started as you go.